How are objects and classes useful? One big benefit is encapsulation, which means that related data are grouped together, along with code that can manipulate the data in a sensible way. Say you want to display a lot of little circles like this. First, let's explore how you might do this without a class. For each circle, there are 3 variables needed. I'm treating them as polar coordinates, so each circle's position is defined by an angle and a radius. When creating the circles in the canvas, a reference to each canvas circle object needs to be saved so that it can be updated as the animation runs. One not very good but workable approach would be to have 3 lists, one for each variable needed for each circle. In this setup, values for each circle have the same index in each list. While this works, it has some drawbacks. Having the 3 lists means that there is a possibility that they could get out of sync. More subjectively, the data feels scattered around, and values that go together are disconnected from each other. But perhaps the worst aspect of this approach is how spread around the code that deals with the circles is. It's also annoying to have to interact with 3 lists per circle. One solution to all this is creating a class to encapsulate the data and code that relates to the circles. Objects of this type will have 3 attributes and a few methods. 2 of the attributes are the angle, theta, and the radius. The init method will take these as parameters and store them as attributes of the new object, which is a common pattern. The init method also handles creating the canvas circle object and storing the reference returned as another attribute, ref. Much of the rest of the code is very similar to the version without a class, but now there's only one list, and each object inside contains its own data and methods to work with that data. The code with the class is a bit longer in this example. However, consider adding new variables for each circle. For example, I'll add 2 variables to animate each circle's color. With no class, this requires 2 more lists and code to add or remove the values from them. It's much easier to add the same new data to the class.